This day I received a magnificent word from the Lord. I believe this is really encouraging. This is a brilliant message to anyone who's, I would say, seeking ye first the kingdom, but most importantly, someone who has come from tremendous trial and tribulation. We all have different trials and tribulations that we go through, and this one, this message, it speaks deeply about our faith. Okay, this is a powerful message, and I hope you enjoy. So this word that is spoken, first and foremost, there are different, for simplicity's sake, there is two types of faith that I have experienced. The first type of faith that I have experienced is the faith which is submerged in water. The faith that is submerged in water has certain characteristics that come along with it. It is the type of faith that gets suffocated. It is sort of the pressure, I would say, the suffocation. It is the breathlessness. It is the type of faith that must hold fast its breath. As someone is submerged underwater, that person has to hold their breath, which means they are under pressure. They are under tremendous, I would say, strain upon themselves. But they are not hurting. They are just in tremendous strain, in tremendous turmoil, I would say. But there is no pain. But it does cause mental strain. It does cause physical strain, and it does cause you can pass out, basically. So there is a time limit for anyone that is submerged underwater. There's a time limit for them to come up. Okay, so that time limit, that when you come up, you will have your new breath. And when you come up, you have learned how to, it's almost training to learn to endure during the times of famine, during the times of lack, during the times of difficulty. That kind of faith is so needed in the body of Jesus Christ. So what you must understand is that there is, for simplicity's sake, like I said, two types of faith, which is the faith in the water. Now, the faith in the water, you could kind of, if I could put an example to it, I would say it is the type of faith which Israel went through, where they had to go through tremendous strain and a long time, which is about 430 years, I believe, that they had to go through bondage until Moses finally grew up and came to the forefront, and God used Moses. Now here's the thing. Moses killed someone. Okay? He was accused and he was found guilty of killing someone. And when he killed that person, he had to flee. And here's the thing about God especially, is and this is something that we experience as we build our relationship with Jesus Christ, okay, is that you will find that God is there when you make your mistakes, when you make blunders, but he's also there to save those who, I would say, if anyone looked at what Moses did, they would say, hey, he's guilty. Absolutely. He's a cruel man. How dare he and all of that. But Moses wanted to save someone. He wanted to save the person who was being hurt, who could have been killed. So it was truly a shock to Moses, not only that here I'm trying to do a good thing and I'm found guilty. and the crazy thing about it is that no one was willing to listen. That's the sad thing about it. But you know what? The beautiful thing about it is God is willing to listen. And he is the judge and the jury and the executioner. Okay? His will and his will alone decides the fate. Okay? Jesus Christ alone decides our fate. And that is why he is God. So what is beautiful about this is that God provided a safe haven, knowing the purpose God had with Moses. Okay? It's very interesting how this happened. Now I know I'm going off a little bit with regards to the faith that is submerged, but I'll get to it. I'll get to it. Just stay with me. With regards to how God preserved Moses. Now, he killed someone, and here's the thing. I personally don't think that he intended to kill that person. This is a God that has always had his way. This is someone that has always had the opportunity to beat someone up to near death. This is someone that has always been allowed the freedom to release their emotions and their destruction, which they could not themselves, or no one ever told them it was wrong. No one ever said, no Pharaoh ever said to treat a slave with respect or to treat the Israelites with respect. No, they were told, or rather they were ordered to basically treat them as lesser than slaves. And to do whatever they wanted, and to make sure that they would keep them down and press them down. And the sad thing is, this man at this moment was decided again. Here's the other thing, okay, is that sometimes we can get so confident in our doing wrong, our judging wrong, our attitude towards someone else, our authority towards someone else, abusing them, misusing them, even being spiteful towards them. And then God allows it. And he allows it, and he allows it, and he allows it until there is so much confidence in that doing that you won't turn back. And then, as he did with Pharaoh, he hardened his heart and said, now I won't let you turn back, because you've hardened your heart enough. Now I'm going to harden it further so that you don't turn back, so that when I deal with you, there's no escaping it. You won't repent. You won't turn back to me. Because I have allowed you and I have given you the opportunity to treat those others with righteousness and with respect. I have given you authority to see if you would respect the authority I gave you. If you would respect the position I gave you. But you wouldn't. And you took it for granted. And this is what this soldier did. He took it for granted. And he tried to beat this man and was hitting this man and could have been to death. And that's when Moses stepped in. And Moses tried to do something that was right, unfortunately, at the wrong time. And although, for me personally, I don't think that Moses intended to kill the guy, I believe that he just wanted him to stop. But of course, because the soldier has always had his way, he didn't want to stop. He wanted to keep going because he's always had his way. So he tried to go against Moses. And that's when, even at that moment, God was involved. And that's when God delivered the man into Moses' hands. Now don't get me wrong. It's not that God approved it. But God had a purpose with Moses. But Moses' hand, he did it wrong. Because the Bible says in the commandments, before the commandment was even written, thou shalt not kill. But this was before the commandments was written. Okay? But this was even frowned upon in the time with Adam and Eve and Cain and Abel. So that was something that God did not approve of. But in any case, Moses did it. And this is where God says that even those things that are, I'm paraphrasing, but even those things that are crooked, those crooked places I will make straight. Even I will make all things work together for them who love the Lord. He was a Hebrew. He was a Hebrew boy. He was a Hebrew man. He was Jewish. Okay, he spoke Hebrew. And he was a Jewish. And he was an Israelite. And basically, he had to flee. Because he did a wrong and he understood that nobody would take his side. So he fled. And even though God understood that he was trying to do a right that turned into a wrong, unfortunately, or fortunately, God allowed, or unfortunately actually, God allowed the shunning. And he fled. And he fled to a distant wilderness to the point where he was met by random people. And even then, here's the beauty of it. And this is someone who truly, this is someone who truly carries a portion of God that is just relentless in love. Relentless. That even in his time of losing everything, and I mean he lost everything, still he was willing to save these kids from I'm gonna just get the story again, but basically from someone trying to stop them from getting water. I believe that's how the story goes. Okay, just I'll read it again and correct me if I'm wrong. We're not perfect. We all make mistakes. Okay, but just go with me on this. And as soon as he was able to get back up on his feet, everything was all fine and dandy. That's when the one of the sheep went astray, and or maybe I'm thinking of a different version now, but basically that's when he found the burning bush. You see, God will allow some peace just so that things can settle. The funny thing about emotions is that emotions are like a wave. Yes, they will rise, but God understands. That's why he doesn't respond to our emotions. He responds to our faith. Because he knows when our faith is set, our emotions are settled. Because your emotions go up and then they come down. But they always eventually, like water, settle. And then you start to realize maybe it wasn't such a big deal. Or maybe I was a bit harsh. Or maybe I took things a bit too far. And these are the type of emotions that even Moses would have had. Thinking to himself, but he left that life behind and thought that was it. But then God called him to a different standard and to a different plan. Because God had the plan. Moses didn't. Okay? And here's the thing. Now coming back to the submerged faith. The submerged faith is what Israel went through, the Israelites. They went through the type of where they had to hold the faith while enduring the pressure and the suffocation of bondage. Because when you're underwater, you're in bondage. You're bound, basically. Because you're underwater, you can only experience what your environment is giving you. And underwater, you experience certain aspects which are fatal to the body. Okay? It nourishes the spirit, because God said that you will come out with great substance. You're going to go into bondage, but you're going to come out with great substance. So they went into the suffocating, submerged faith, awaiting to pop out and to breathe again. And the only way they would breathe again is if Moses did what he did. Would it have worked any other way? I don't know. To be honest, I don't know. But God works everything. That's why God doesn't share all his plans with us. Because if he had to tell anybody, if he had to say, Moses, so I'm going to need you to kill somebody, Moses would, no, I'm not going to kill somebody. I'll do what you say, but I'm not going to go and... There was reason for it. There was reason for it. I'm not saying, just go and do the bad thing. What I'm saying is that when people make mistakes, when they find themselves in a difficult situation, something that they themselves are a part of and that they created, or that they are initiated into, I would say God always provides a grace. Always. Always a safe haven, always able to work things to the glory of God and to that person's good. Okay? But that doesn't mean we take it for granted. Okay. So what you need to understand is that is that type of faith. That is the submerged faith. But now let me tell you about a different type of faith. And it is the faith after the submerged faith. It is after you come out of the submerged faith. Then you meet a new type of faith. And that is the faith that is submerged into fire. Yeah. Whole different. It may be opposites, but it's not the same. It is not the same. God is the same today, tomorrow, and in the future. He is the same always. But I got to tell you, there is sides of God that are yet to be known. And it truly, you will only understand it when you get into it. This is relationship. This is not, I just want to, get to touch God just so that I can feel blessed. No. This is, you're part of his army. And now he's taking you through the necessary. And when you walk with God, because remember, he's revealing who you are in him. Because only he understands who you are. So the faith of fire, that comes with different attributes. Because fire is perpetual pain. It does not cease. It continues. It is perpetual destruction of the body. it causes sores, it causes blemishes and boils, it creates more destruction upon the body, but it still increases the soul, the spirit. It does havoc on the flesh, havoc, but the spirit gets multiplied like never before. Like never before, truly. It's a scary thing to experience, but it's a necessary thing. And each one goes through the accordance of the measure. The way I can kind of picture it. I think I'll look into it deeper, and it was just, this is something that just thrust upon me. So, was really excited to share it. So that's probably why it's so unprepared. Anyway, but thank you so much for listening. I think that's more than enough. May your day be blessed, your week, your month, and your year, and may you be blessed in this festive time as well as in the new year. Okay, stay blessed, and always, when you are blessed, be of blessing to others. That's the most important. Okay? And also, if you listened this far, you're an incredible person. Understand that. God has great purpose with your life. And also, you've got a heart for God. Truly. And God is going to use that heart. And you don't have to fear, the tribulations and trials. Because whatever you go through, God doesn't give each measure to each person the same way. Okay, this is depicted actually in the Bible. I'll speak about that another time. But God will give you to the measure He knows you can handle. So just be willing. Be willing, because I can promise you, whatever He takes you through and whatever He puts you into, He's got provision, undertaking, He's got His love. Sometimes He just needs to reach someone that, He just wants you to plant the seed and then get out of there. But ultimately, count it all a joy to go through the trials and tribulations, because there's so much greater joy and so much greater prosperity and victory on the other side that would make what you went through seem very small, and you'd kind of feel like, wow, for what I'm getting and for what I went through, you'd probably say something like, it was good that I was afflicted, things like that. But thank you so much for listening. I hope you have a fantastic day, and I hope you're blessed. And I hope that this message blessed you as much as it blessed me, because we're both learning. We're both listening to the Word of God. And thank you so much for listening. Bye-bye.